games, throughout the first 10, 11 years of my career. This was definitely one of them. Wow, got to give so much credit to our defense. I mean, they let up 3 points. You know, was it even that? I forget even how they got the 3 points there. So how they even got in field goal range. But such a good job by those guys.
How do you keep going after 3 interceptions? What drives you to keep?
Oh, believe me, part of you wants to crawl into a hole somewhere and hide from everybody, but it's just not. You can't do that. Especially somebody like me. I mean, I've been in this league a long time, and you've seen so much happen. You just have to keep your eyes on what's next. You have to continue to look forward and continue to, have faith that your teammates are going to, get themselves in the right positions for you to get the ball to them. It might not happen, and today it just happened to work out for us. And like I said, I don't think enough can be said about how well our defense played, with all the turnovers that we had and the little amount of points they let up.
So how do you look in the fourth quarter for you, Joe?
Well, listen, I mean, I think when you look at it, we just got a few chunks, and then guys made really good runs with the ball. I feel like they did a pretty good job of keeping us underneath of them all day, and we were trying to take like little bits at a time, But we were allowing. They were aggressive. They as soon as they saw the ball thrown, they were breaking on things and making us go the long hard way. And then late in the game, we started to get some chunk plays that we definitely kind of thrive on. When we can get those going, then we're a good offense.
Joe, can you take us through the one to Amari? The touchdown there?
Yeah, I saw him coming around the Mike linebacker. I knew somebody was out to the right, but there was a huge hole in there. So I let the ball go kind of as he was wrapping around the mic, and it was all him from there.
What can you say about David Njoku? Not only the touchdown catch that he had, but then on that final drive to set up the field goal and convert that big 3rd and 15.
Yeah, he's been awesome. When you get the ball in his hands, he's such a strong runner. I don't think you get this. You probably don't get a great chance to see what he does in the run game and how physical he is. But you do get a chance to see that when he gets the ball in his hands, and it's just the kind of player he is. Started the drive with him, and it was a huge play by him to get us down in the field goal range there.
Joe, what is
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
No, you're good.
Joe, what is it about this team set a franchise record with 5 wins on game-winning scores in the last 2 minutes of regulation? It looked like you guys were dead in the water going into the fourth quarter. You haven't been here that long, but what do you make of this team's resiliency and ability to win these kind of games?
Listen, I think it just tells you a lot about the kind of guys that this organization has, purposely picked to put on the roster and in that locker room. And I think it's one of those things that you probably can't quite quantify. But having hard workers, having tough guys, and all those things, if you're put in situations where you need to be, you need to have that resilience. Like I said, not every one of them are going to work out. So there is a little bit of probably luck involved in things like today. But I think it just speaks to the character of the guys in that room, and I think you have to give credit to the organization for probably doing that on purpose.
The line was decimated, we know that. So what were your words of encouragement in the huddle, on the sidelines?
I didn't have much. You just look at the guys and say, "Hey, let's go. Let's get in a groove here. Let's get back in our rhythm. Let's go get one." Stupid, simple little things to just kind of keep everybody's heads up. But I got to say, all those guys, there was never a time where we got to the sideline getting ready to go out for a drive and you saw a head down. Everybody had their eyes up and were ready to go. So, like I said, if they had a little bit of a different feeling inside, then they weren't letting it be shown. And that's what you have to do in these situations. You have to trick your mind into thinking that it's not that big of a deal, even though it might be.
What kind of view did you have? What kind of view did you have of the Hail Mary?
I saw it on the big screen, and I saw it almost go in the guy's lap. Yeah. So, listen, I've been when you watch and/or are a part of all the games that go on every week, that not to get excited until that clock hits 0. There's so many things that can happen, whether we've been a part of it or whether, like I said, you've seen it on Sundays just watching TV. So believe me, I was over there, and guys want to come up and congratulate you and things like that, and I'm just sitting there just waiting for that clock to hit 0. So.
Joe, can you just address the fact that you guys lost Joel Batonio? You were down 4 of your starting 5 offensive linemen in this game. Can you address that notion?
Hey, I think the guys that came in there did a great job in stepping up. And listen, our center had to go out for a play, and it's next man up. And the fact that it's not an easy thing. Listen, I've done that for a couple of years. You're on the sideline, and you have to be constantly ready to go out there and take the field if something's going to happen. It's not easy. It is not an easy job. So the fact that those guys have come in mid-game and just filled in and done the job that they've done, it's really impressive. And I don't really think you can understand how impressive it is until you've probably had to experience that to some extent. It's not a very easy job, and it says a lot about who they are.
Joe, when you first came in, you said that you could tell this team was tight. It seemed like these guys are really close. How much is that related to guys truly buying into that next man up? Because everybody says it, but to have this kind of success with it, is it different?
I think it goes hand in hand. It's like you have to have that mindset, but also when you've had success doing it, like when you've gone out there and proven to yourself and to your teammates that we've done it. So it helps the next time that it happens. The next man up has already seen 3 other guys go in there and do it and step up. So he's like, okay, why not me? And so I think lead by example, all those things, like they all play off of each other. And the fact that we've done it in the past definitely helps for when we had to do it today and when we're going to do it in the future and all that stuff.
Did you know you were going to have to hear from the Flacco flock about the 3 interceptions, and did you know you just had to come back and erase those and win this game?
Believe me, those kids were the least of my worries with throwing 3 interceptions. You're just looking at yourself, and then like we talked about, just this is a great locker room, and you don't want to play like that to feel like you let those guys down. So, all right.
Okay, obviously a great team win. I appreciate that locker room. That's a bunch of fighters in there. It's not always pretty. It wasn't perfect, not gonna be perfect, but to see those guys fight for 60 minutes, which we needed all 60, to push through, guys pushing through injuries, guys out of the lineup, guys filling in. That's a resilient bunch in there. So really proud of them. Proud to get that one. And then, we know where we are, and another big one coming up in the AFC next week. But really just proud of the effort. Again, can clean up about 1,000 things, but to come away with a victory in that fashion, I'm pretty proud of that group. With that, I'll take questions. Go ahead.
How about Joe overcoming 3 interceptions and just locking in and pulling that out?
Yeah, obviously Joe made some unbelievable throws there when we needed him. I mean, the one to David there at the end on 3rd and 14 maybe, that's very similar, different but similar to the David Bell one the week before. It was hot, drifted, made some room, felt like there was somewhere to loft the ball up, and then Dave Njoku did what Dave does, and he went and made a huge play for us. But yeah, Joe, just can't say enough good things about how he played in that 4th quarter and leading that football team.
Kevin, you guys set a franchise record today with scores in the final 2 minutes to win a game with
Okay.
5. What is it about this team where you guys are able to come through with winning plays over and over again, despite the injuries mounting for you?
Yeah, it's the greatest team game there is, and what I love about it is it takes the offense, the defense, and the special teams in a moment like you're describing. Everybody has to come through, and that's what we've done this season. I think the guys did a great job of understanding the situation and what we needed to do, but credit to the players for executing.
How about David Njoku? What can you say about the night that David had?
Yeah, just talked about David in that locker room. I'm proud of Dave and the person he is and the player he is. He's one of the best teammates I've ever been around. And the growth that he's made both as a person and a player, He's got that mentality where he fights for everything. And, I mean, he put it on display today. He really did. So we needed him. He's a great leader for our football team. I'm proud of him.
We don't get to talk to Callahan, but what was he messaging the line who had a tough day,
Yeah.
just to hang in there? Was
Yeah,
he coaching them up on the
oh
sideline?
gosh, yeah. Coach Callahan does an amazing job. Scott Peters, John DeCoster, those guys did a great job. It's hard. You have backups in there, and you have guys playing different positions, and he makes sure that they know that they have a job to do. Was not always pretty, wasn't always perfect. I know there's places that I can help them out for sure, but Coach does a great job, not just on Sunday. He does a great job during the week in making sure those guys are ready to go.
You talk about the defense, you know, basically 2 pick sixes.
Yeah.
And a shutout other than that.
Yeah, played outstanding. Again, I know Coach is going to talk about a couple plays that he wishes that you could have played a little bit differently, but man, to play how we did for most of that football game, again, offensively turning the ball over was the story of that game that kept them in it. And then for us to do that and put our defense in some really tough spots, they score 7 off of an offensive giveaway. So for a large portion of that game, our defense was just lights out, getting them in the 3rd and long, harassing the passer, playing the ball when it was in the air. I thought they were stopping the run. Very impressive.
And we've asked you about Tustin Hopkins before, but I mean, he just
I like him.
rocks. I mean, just again, he comes through for you.
Yeah. We took the ball to start the game, felt like the wind might be a factor, and then leaned on Dustin, and he wanted to go that way in the 4th, just felt like where the wind was going. A guy you trust. I mean, really a guy that's come through for our football team time and time again. He's been outstanding.
What happened to Joel?
Yeah, just something in pregame, just felt it, maybe lock up a little bit. Tried to go, just could not. Wanted to, just couldn't.
7-1 at home. Can you just talk about how much fun it is to have the fans and
Yeah.
doing all this?
Yeah, it was a beautiful day out there, and proud of the crew that was in there cheering. And I've said this before, we need them. It takes everybody, and I'm serious. It takes our fans too. I mean, they make such a huge difference. I don't think anybody likes coming here and playing in front of our fans. We love it.
Kevin, what's going through your head on that last drive and then the Hail Mary?
I thought we're just talking and about the situation, make sure that everybody's on the same page. They should not have gotten that big play to get them down there, obviously. And then just conversations about what they're going to do next, and obviously it felt like the ball was going to go in the end zone on that last one, and you have to execute. I know it wasn't perfect by us. I know you could say we got lucky or whatever, but I thought the guys understood what they had to do.
What's on your mind when it's sitting in his lap there?
I blacked out. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's this season, Jake. I mean, there's going to be times that you just got to trust your guys. And again, that locker room, I trust that locker room because they work their butts off, and then they fight like crazy.
The wind here is so unpredictable. How sure were you that it was going to stay that way to take the ball?
Yeah, well, you get to make the decision in the second half in terms of which direction ultimately you want in that 4th quarter.
How about young safeties like D. Bell, Ronnie Hickman coming up big in this game?
Yeah, I thought those guys tackled well. Obviously, you'd have to look at the tape, Mary Kay, but really conscientious, diligent workers. Coach Ephraim does a great job getting those guys ready to play, so really, really proud of those guys.
Kevin, when you're struggling to run the ball, you got the backup lineman in, there's pressure on Joe, and you're down 10. How do you, as a play caller, kind of come up with the plan that's going to get you?
Yeah, I mean, it's all those variables. It's all those things, and you're just trying to find ways to be explosive, find ways to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand, find ways to, and at the end of the day, you're thinking about your players, and you're thinking about Amari, and you're thinking about Dave and Elijah and our guys, and say, how do we get the ball to those guys? But for us in this instance with an offensive staff, it's what's available to you. What do you feel like you can get to?
One more on that. How about finally getting a chance to go deep to Marquise Goodman, which is
Yeah, great throw. Joe handed that one off. I mean, that was incredible. Marquise did exactly what he was supposed to do, tracked it well, got a huge play there. And that game, that's a good defense. Coach Flus does a great job. I think they have good players at all 3 levels of the defense. So that was a tough outfit for us up front. Really impressed with that crew in the back end. So it was a challenge.
And you had a lot of backups make key plays in the 4th quarter. Cam Mitchell tripped up fields. Alex Wright had the stop. Marquise had the catch. Can you weigh in on those guys stepping up in those moments, because you don't win without them?
Yeah, I mean, it's a next man up mentality, but I think we have the right guys that are stepping into those roles, and I think that is a credit to Andrew and his staff and putting this roster together with guys that that we feel really good about when we're asking them to step in for a starter.
A touchdown for Amari. I know we've talked about him just all this season, but for him to be able to read those two guys, the defense, and catch that ball and then make that turn, I guess, what does that just say about his awareness in that moment?
Great football player. You know, you're always trying to find ways to get Amari the ball. Joe fitted in a very tight window, and then Amari did the tightrope down the sideline. But very heady player, has made huge plays for us in these ball games, and we need him.
Good.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks.